Namaskar and a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Heta Pandit, a member of the Museum of Christian Art Managing Committee. It's my pleasure and my privilege to welcome you this evening to the reopening of our beautiful, newly upgraded museum. I welcome you on behalf of His Grace Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrão, on behalf of President of MOCA Managing Committee, Father Avinash Rebello, on behalf of Vice President Nascimento de Souza, and my fellow members on the committee. Words cannot express our delight and our gratitude to you all for taking the time and the effort of being with us today on this momentous occasion. To begin our evening's program, I'd like our musicians to play a little tune. Omar? Thank you, Omar. I think everybody's understood? Yeah. Thank you, Omar. And to begin the program, I'd like to invite entre nos, our musicians for this evening, Omar Loyola Pereira, Selvin, and Fadishta Nadia, to give us a performance.
Pritimo tu sodonia e che vaute sorisarko wamot meta Pritimo tu sodonia e che vaute sorisarko solitude.
May I now request our dignitaries, led by our President, Father Avinash, to come up on the dais, please. Shri Shripad Naik. Namaskar. Your Excellency, Ambassador, Your Grace, our Vice President, Shri Nilesh Kabral ji, true to our Goan tradition, we begin everything with the lighting of the traditional lamp. May I request Your Grace, may I request you to come to and light the lamp with all the dignitaries, please.
Asato ma satkamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya shanti shanti shanti.
Thank you, Shubha. That was beautiful. In translation, O Lord of the universe, lead us from ignorance to truth. Lead us from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, peace, peace. I'd now like to invite His Grace, Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrão, Archbishop of Goa and Daman, to deliver the welcome address.
Shri Shripad Naik, Honorable Minister of State for Tourism, Government of India, and respected Chief Guest, Shri Rohan Kaunte, who was supposed to be here, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Government of Goa, was expected to be guest of honor. We have just been informed due to some emergency cannot come. He may join us late. But we are so happy that we have Mr. Nilesh Kabral, the Honorable Minister for Legislative Affairs, Environment, Law and Judiciary and Public Works Department. His Excellency Dr. Carlos Pereira Marques, Ambassador of Portugal in India. Reverend Father Avinash Rebelo, President of the Managing Committee of the Christian Art Museum. Mr. Nascimento de Souza, Vice President of the Managing Committee and other committee members. Ms. Natasha Fernandez, Curator of the Christian Art Museum and her staff, all our honorable MLAs, other dignitaries, members of the print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. The invitation that you have received to this event has been sent to you by the Archbishop of Goa and Daman and by the Managing Committee of the Museum of Christian Art, Old Goa. As the Archbishop of this historic church of Goa and Daman, it gives me honor and great pleasure to stand here and welcome all of you to this special evening. A hearty welcome to our respected chief guest, Shri Shripad Naik, Honorable Minister of State for Tourism, Government of India. Besides being a son of the soil and a very close neighbor to Old Goa, you represent here the central government of India, who has played a major role in the process which is being brought to completion today. Without the substantial funding we receive from the Ministry of Culture, New Delhi, we would have simply not seen this memorable day dawn upon us. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence in our midst. We expected Shri Rohan Kaunte, the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Government of Goa, to be here today. But as I mentioned, he couldn't be there, couldn't come up to now. But we are grateful to Mr. Nilesh Cabral, the Minister for Legislative Affairs, Environment, Law and Judiciary, and Public Works Department of the Government of Goa. And I would consider that you represent here our local government, which through its Directorate of Archives and Archaeology saw to the entire project of renovation of this beautiful church of Santa Monica, a Goa state-protected monument in 2016. Our local government has also been extending to us an invaluable support in our various projects, particularly in ensuring the security of our exhibits. Thank you, sir. A special word of appreciation for the presence in our midst of His Excellency, the Ambassador of Portugal in India, Dr. Carlos Pereira Marques. Your Excellency, you represent in our country and here in our midst today a nation that in spite of its geographic distance from our land has been inextricably linked with India and with Goa in particular for the last 5 centuries. Almost all the objects displayed in this museum belong to the category of Indo-Portuguese art, a unique art style that would have never existed were it not for the presence of Portugal in this land for all these centuries. We are thankful to your government, particularly to your Ministry of Culture, for being another important funding source in this project of upgradation of our museum. We cannot forget that this Museum of Christian Art owes practically its existence to the Fundação Carlos de Gulbenkian of Portugal. Right from its birth till the present day, our museum has enjoyed the unstinting support of this foundation, which has proved to be more than a trustworthy friend, ready at hand with its technical and even financial assistance at the slightest call for help. We are happy with the presence in our midst today of Dra. Maria Fernanda Matias, consultant of this foundation. Close to the Gulbenkian Foundation, the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, INTEC, has been an ever-available companion to our museum along all these years, providing valuable technical help in the conservation of the artifacts and being an important part of the present installation process. To all of them, we are deeply grateful, as well as to the large number of benefactors and well-wishers who contributed particularly to the realization of the present reorganization and upgradation of our museum. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to witness the rebirth of an art treasury that needed a thorough renovation. Referring to painting, one of the most inspiring artists of all time, Leonardo da Vinci, had once said, I quote, "Painting is poetry that is seen rather than felt, and poetry is painting that is felt rather than seen." I invite you to feel and enjoy the beautiful poetry contained in this reorganized space, in its paintings, sculptures, precious metals, textiles, books, and furniture. May it draw us closer to the divine author of all beauty and giver of all artistic talents to humankind in a hymn of thanksgiving and praise, which significantly the melodious trio and trinoge has already raised to the Almighty in our name at the very beginning of this beautiful celebration. Once again, welcome and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Your Grace, for your inspiring words and your warm address. May I now request our chief guest for the evening, Shri Shripad Bab Naik, to say a few words. Shripad Bab.
Good evening. Namaskar to everybody. Honorable His Excellency Most Reverend Philip Neri Ferraunji, Archbishop of Goa and Daman. His Excellency Dr. Carlos Pereira Marques, the Ambassador of Portugal in India. Honorable Sri Nilesh Kabralji, Minister of PWD, Government of Goa. Honorable Father Avinash Ribeloji, President of Managing Committee of Museum of Christian Art. Honorable Sri Nascimento de Souza, Vice President of Managing Committee of Museum of Christian Art. Honorable MP from Rajya Sabha, all the MLAs of Goa Assembly, other dignitaries, brothers and sisters. It gives me immense pleasure to be amongst you for this August ceremony. Museum of Christian Art was set up in collaboration with the Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation of Portugal and the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, New Delhi, and inaugurated in 1994 by then President of India, Sri Shankar Dayal Sharma ji. Initially, the museum was located in the precinct of Rashol Seminary. In 2002, it was relocated to the convent of Santa Monica, Old Goa, in the vicinity of the World Heritage Monument. Museum of Christian Art, in collaboration with the Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation and INTEC, undertook an extensive upgradation in 2017 to 2020 to keep pace with the current world standard of museology and museography and to vastly enhance visitors' experience. The priceless and exquisite objects of the display are the excellent example of an unique art form, a perfect symbiosis of two culture manifestation, Indian and European. This art form, now referred to an Indo-Portuguese, was created by the highly skilled local artisans over the last centuries who, in producing the object and furniture required in churches and convents, consciously or unconsciously superimpose their own Indian artistic style, thereby giving them a distinct Indian look. Museum of Christian Art's unique art objects have been displayed at the special exhibition in India and abroad, notably Japan, Europe, and Australia. The key objectives of the Museum of Christian Arts in the promotion of the museum as a center for education and research conducts various events, workshops, lectures, heritage walk, and much else. Also provides internship. Collaborates with research scholars and the research institution in India and abroad on various research projects. Collaborates with the renowned institution in India and abroad in the field of education, restoration, and conservation. Another key object of the Museum of Christian Art is the setting up of a full-fledged restoration and conservation center to meet the overwhelming demands for such work in this part of India. Museum of Christian Arts is disabled friendly with a ramp and chair lifts. Visitors who come to Museum of Christian Art also get to visit the restored Church of Santa Monica. Museum of Christian Arts also has attractive shops for visitors to select the souvenirs from a country yard where visitors can relax and avail of the services of the cafeteria. This world-class museum can be a major tourist attraction in Old Goa, Goa. Once again, I congratulate the Managing Committee of Museum of Christian Art and organizers. Also, I once again thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Dev Bare Karu, Shripad Bab, Honorable Minister of State for Tourism, New Delhi. Thank you for your kind words we will be inspired to do better, and thank you for your support from Delhi whenever we've asked for it. I'd now like to request His Excellency Dr. Carlos Pereira Marques, Ambassador of Portugal, to address the gathering.
Your Grace, honorable ministers, esteemed dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very special day for this Museum of Christian Art, but also for me. For the last 4 years, since I arrived in India in 2018, I kept coming to this beautiful place in different capacities. First, as a simple tourist, discovering the wonders of Goa. Later on, as the ambassador of Portugal, visiting a project so dear to our country. Escorting our president on the occasion of his state visit in February 2020, and more recently, in the company of the ambassador of Brazil. In this way, I could follow the renovation works progressing, witness the care attached to every single detail, and see this new amazing space coming into light. That's why I'm so happy to be here today on an occasion that marks the culmination of years of dedication and love. The fact that I was asked to represent today the Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation adds to the uniqueness of this moment, as I will speak not only on behalf of my country, but also on behalf of one of its most prestigious and respected institutions. On this memorable occasion, I would like to underline very briefly some aspects that make the Museum of Christian Art project so special, and it is so special indeed. First of all, its accomplished renovation is one more example of the fruitful and trustworthy collaboration between Indian and Portuguese cultural entities, public and private, a collaboration that we'd like to replicate in other projects. Goa, with its unique and rich Indo-Portuguese heritage, is of course the ideal setting for this type of cooperation, and we are very keen to move forward with new and diversified joint projects based on a mutually beneficial sharing of experiences and knowledge. Secondly, we all know that some of the best museums in the world include in their collections a few, very few precious pieces of Goa Indo-Portuguese manufacture. But the Museum of Christian Art is the only one in Asia entirely dedicated to this extraordinary art form, in all its mediums and variations, including jewelry, silver and ivory artifacts, furniture, sculpture, paintings, and textiles. Thirdly, the carefully conceived new layout, respecting the highest world standards of museography and museology, allow us to get an integrated overview of the evolution of the Indo-Portuguese art history. And all these in a minimalist universe of beauty and sophistication that enraptures the visitor. The lighting, the special design displayed cases, the choice of the pieces, everything was taken care of with the utmost attention. Fourthly, despite the richness of its collections, the museum has a small and cozy dimension, and this makes it more accessible to the common public, more attractive to the youngsters and senior citizens, and more focused on the beauty and history of every single object displayed. This doesn't mean there's a lack of space, so on the contrary, but that the architects could play freely with volumes and levels, creating dramatic views and perspectives that add to the magic of the place. The beautifully restored Santa Monica Church, where we are now, ideally complements the Christian Arts Museum, and it's a magnificent setting for cultural activities. Moreover, and I do want to highlight this, what also makes this project so special, and always did, is the human quality of all the teams involved. And I want to stress here on the determination, the idealism, the dedication that have made all this possible. The managing committee, dear Natasha, the architects, the researchers, the teams coming from Delhi and Lisbon, all share the common passion and the consciousness of the uniqueness of this collection and place. Every single time I come to Santa Monica, I feel this warmth and discreet pride, so very important. I also must refer at this point to the well-known love affair of the Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation with Goa, a love affair that I'm sure will never vanish. And the talent, the expertise, and high professionalism of all those involved, Indian and Portuguese, that made quality the cornerstone of this project. Finally, the Museum of Christian Art is more than a mere repository of beautiful objects, as it also acts as a lively cultural hub, organizing events, workshops, lectures and walks, promoting research and education, and making people aware of the importance of Goa's unique heritage, such a key role. Last but not least, with all its modern and immaculate amenities, Santa Monica will become a safe haven and an attractive place of conviviality, dismissing the image of museums as places of boredom. That's what we don't want. One last word on continuity. These adventures, as we all know, started more than 30 years ago. And Portugal has the honor and pleasure to be associated with it since its beginning. It enters now in a new phase marked by innovation and modernity, and I'm sure others will follow. You may always count on our support, be it through the Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation, be it through the Portuguese Ministry of Culture. I take this opportunity to praise today the excellent collaboration we maintain along all these years with the Archdiocese of Goa, with the Indian Ministry of Culture, and with the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage. I thank you all for the trust you showered upon us and share with you the satisfaction of the good results achieved. Without false modesty, I think we have reasons to be proud today. Thank you. Obrigado.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We enjoyed the collaboration and we look forward to many, many more years to come. I'd like now to invite Sri Nilesh Cabral to say a few words.
A very good evening to all present for this wonderful occasion of the inauguration of the renovated Church of Santa Monica along with the upgraded Museum of Christian Art. Amongst our midst, we have Most Reverend Archbishop for the state of Goa and Daman, Reverend Father Philip Neri Ferrao, my guide and mentor and always whom we look to take this country forward, our state in a better direction, my senior colleague and Honorable Minister for Tourism, Government of India, Shri Sripad Naik ji, His Excellency, Ambassador of Portugal for India, Dr. Carlos Pereira Marcos, Reverend Father Avinash Ribello, who is the President of the Managing Committee of MOCA, Vice President of the Managing Committee of MOCA, Mr. D'Souza, Honorable MP of Rajya Sabha for the state of Goa, Shri Vinay Tendulkar ji, Honorable colleagues from the MLAs from the Goa Legislative Assembly, all Reverend Fathers, dignitaries from far and wide, ladies and gentlemen, and my press, beloved brothers and sisters. Well, first of all, I am a makeshift guest of honor and coming prepared for a function where I was not there, as my colleague, Mr. Rohan Counter, had to go for another function, and I volunteered to come here. But it is very good because I had come here almost 4.5, 5 years back when a part of this museum was renovated then. And I was very much present here when I was chairman of Goa Tourism Development Corporation, and I had come to this function. And it gives me immense pleasure to be part of it again, not as part of the state government, even on my personal grounds, as I have been associated with Father Avinash many a times, whatever we could do. And the curator, Natasha, has been always guiding and going ahead with this wonderful work with the entire team. And I remember the foundation where Dr. Maria is here today, who had initiated this many years back. And now other organizations have taken forward and completed it. Whereas part of the state government, we had declared this particular monument as a state monument in 2016. We have seen a lot of ups and downs. We have noticed a lot of things which have happened in this particular museum where some of our artifacts went missing. And then Honorable then Chief Minister, Mr. Manohar Parrikar, had given a special recognition and given protection in a different form so that the artifacts could be preserved. I've come to know lately, Father Avinash was mentioning to me that thing is little withdrawn, but I can assure you on behalf of the state government that we will see the reasons for what and see that it is reinstated again, Father. We also thank His Excellency Ambassador for Portugal to India, Dr. Carlos, for giving his wholehearted cooperation for the state of Goa to take not only this museum and this church into different direction, but all such monuments of historical value and to preserve them in a right direction, not only for us, but for the future, so that people of this particular beautiful country and especially the beautiful state of Goa know what was in the past, how we have inherited this Indo-fusion culture for the state of Goa, which has resulted in a vast, being the best, one of the best tourism states in the country. And I hope your relation with the state government in preserving other culturally important places in the state of Goa will continue. I will also be on record that MOCA, the Museum of Christian Art, who has been doing a wonderful job, not only preserving our Indo-Portuguese culture, but also keeping this museum available for the general public and tourists in large, and explaining what are the sculptures, the arts, the paintings, the surroundings, so that that vision can go and the meaning of this museum can go and spread not only in Goa and India, but all over the world. With these few words, I would like to thank MOCA and especially Reverend Father and Reverend Bishop for inviting me here as a makeshift guest of honor and to be part of this wonderful function again. And I hope that whatever as the state government as we can do together, our wholehearted support and cooperation will be there, Father. And we will see that whatever way we can be of more support, we'll take it forward. Once again, thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Nilesh Kabran. You're not a makeshift guest, by the way. Ernest Dias and I especially came to invite you personally. But thank you for your inspiring words and all the many, many years of support you have extended us. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can imagine, a lot of hard work and labor of love has gone into the refurbishment and the upgradation of the museum. Behind the scenes, our team, as if by magic, has also managed to produce an excellent publication. I request all our dignitaries on the dais to release this publication that we are all so proud of, led by Father Avinash Ribello, our MOCA Managing Committee President. The book is titled 100 Iconic Art Objects from the Museum of Christian Art. And the books are available at our souvenir shop at the end and for quite a while now. Ladies and gentlemen, words of gratitude are never enough. Yet, a few words of thanks always touch a chord in the hearts of those who have helped us get this far. Who better than Mr. Nascimento de Souza, Vice President of the Managing Committee, MOCA, to deliver the vote of thanks. I'd now like to call upon our dear Nascimento to deliver the vote of thanks.
It looks long, but I'll try and keep it short. Honorable Union Minister, Sri Patnaik, Your Grace, Most Reverend Philip Neri Farao, Your Excellency, Senor Carlos Pereira Marcos, Honorable State Minister Sri Nilesh Kapral, Father Avinash, Honorable Ministers and MLAs, other dignitaries, and our distinguished guests. Can you hear me? Okay. On behalf of the Managing Committee of the Museum of Christian Art, I thank the Honorable Minister, Sri Patnaik, for so graciously agreeing to be with us this evening. We're aware of how busy he is, and we're therefore greatly honored that he has agreed to come here and be with us this evening, and more than anything else, to be our chief guest. So I'd like to take this opportunity. The Archbishop has already said so, but I'd like to reiterate, we're very thankful to the government of India, who has been very supportive, particularly the Ministry of Culture. We have on several occasions received grants towards this museum, and the latest grant, which was a substantial grant, enabled us to execute this project. Without that grant, this project was a non-starter. So we thank you very much on behalf of the government of India. Your Grace, our special thanks to you for all your support and encouragement. We have never known an instance where we've come to you for help and you've turned it down. Your Excellency, Dr. Carlos Pereira Marcos, thank you for being here with us. We know that we have in you a very staunch supporter. You've been here, 5 times already? And today we know that you are also representing the Gulbenkian Foundation. And we would like to convey through you our very special thanks and gratitude to this foundation, who've been with us right from the inception. They are the ones who really started it. And they're the ones, Maria Elena Mendes-Pinto from the Gulbenkian Foundation, who's personally selected all the items you're going to see. So our very special thanks to them. And particularly, I would like to mention Dr. Emilio Rui Villar. He has been a very great friend and supporter. And this whole project, we really owe to him. He's the one who mooted it in the first place and assured us of Gulbenkian's help. And that help has been not only in the form of technical personnel experts from Gulbenkian, but also financially. We also thank the Ministry of Culture, who have also come to our help on this project. So if you could convey our thanks to them, we'd be very grateful. Honorable Minister, here's another friend. We need your help, and we've always had it from you, Sri Nilesh Kapral. On behalf, again, I take this opportunity to thank the government of Goa as a representative of the government of Goa. And of course, we've got several other dignitaries here representing the state of Goa. I would like to convey our thanks to them. They've always been supportive. The restoration of this church, for instance, is because of a grant we received from the government of Goa, this beautiful church. The government of Goa is also helping us on a continuous basis with a grant towards the security. Now, that grant for us is very important because we have a priceless treasure. This is Goa's treasure. And we owe, I think the government really needs to look after this treasure that they have. We are only custodians here, but I think this is a treasure that belongs to Goa. And we need your help, sir. Honored guests, a project of this size, of this nature, of this quality, I'm saying all this, but once you go around, you will agree with me. This can only be produced by a team of experts, people who are also dedicated to the cause. And we have been very fortunate to have such a team. We have a very cohesive team of teams from Portugal, from New Delhi, from Madras, or Chennai as you say, and Goa. And these teams have worked very harmoniously. I've witnessed them working. And I can say that the museum has been very fortunate to have such a team working for them, for us. Now, I will now go, if you will, please bear with me for a little while, because all these people who are responsible for what you're going to see, I think we need to acknowledge their effort, and we have thanked them profusely. I'll start, first of all, the Gulbenkian team. We have with us today Dr. Maria Fernanda Matias, an architect, Rita Albuquerque. Rita has been the architect in more senses than one. This is her project. Whatever you see there, whether it's the placement of the objects, whether it's the routing, whether it's the structural work, I think she can take credit. And of course, Maria Fernanda, who has been, she's a museologist of note, and she has been with us right from the inception of this museum. 29 years with us. We shall miss her when she retires. But Maria Fernanda, Rita, thank you very much. Bruno Cecilio, who is part of that team, he's a perfectionist. He's been responsible largely for the placement of those objects. Nothing but the best. It had to be absolutely perfect before it is approved. Our own architect, Arminio Santana Ribeiro, he is part of this team. He has worked very closely. He's the museum's consultant. He's worked very closely with the Gulbenkian team right from 2015 to produce the project report to start with, and then the execution. If he has gray hair today, you'll know why. He has had the unenvious task of dealing with vendors and contractors. And trying to teach them what the meaning of perfection or excellence meant. He has been a perfectionist and dagger. Arminio, thank you very much for all your contribution. This is your work of art here, too. To the Intech team from Delhi, or teams, may I say, they've been coming, toing and froing from Delhi and here, and on some occasions they've spent several months here. They have been responsible for conserving every single artifact we have in the museum here. To Aarti Abraham, what can I say? She is a great find for the museum. She's a designer. She's designed the Mocha brand, the website, the signages, and you see her handiwork here today. This museum, the new museum book, is a work of art, and I think Arti can take full credit for it, along with Natasha, of course. But Arti, thank you very much indeed. To the museum's ever loyal supporters, the Biko brothers, Glenn and Nixon, they have been with us for years and years. Much of this work you see here is their work, their handiwork. And they've stood by us. They have been part of the team to put all the things together in the museum. Thank you, chaps. To the members of the managing committee, I can't leave them out because they have also slaved, and the project team, because they have contributed in no small measure in time and effort. Thanks, chaps. To the museum's contractors and vendors for their invaluable support. To Manuel Martins, he's here somewhere, who came out at short notice, came out to help us with a very ticklish problem. Thank you, Manuel. To Engineer Altino Coelho, the event coordinator of today's opening. Thanks for all your effort. Omar Loyola Pereira and your group, thank you very much for that lovely rendering, lovely music. And I think we will hear some more of it later. Do we? Will we hear? Yeah, wonderful. Excellent. To Sisters Superiors and Sisters of Mater Dei, for all their friendship and support. The only thing lacking, I've been trying to get a lunch out of them, but one day we will succeed. To the Goan Kitchen for the refreshments today. And most importantly, I mustn't forget that the museum's many donors. I won't list them out. You will see their names on the board, donors board outside. Without their help, this museum, this project was a non-starter. This project has cost a lot of money, 7.5 crores to be precise. And thanks to, of course, the Ministry of Culture in Delhi and the Gulbenkian, the Ministry of Culture. But thanks a lot to people in India and elsewhere, Goan supporters who've helped us through this to set this up. To them, our grateful thanks. And finally, thanks to you, our honored guests, for being so patient, because usually this is the most boring aspect of the program. And especially when you know what the next item is, it's going through the museum and refreshments. Thank you very much indeed.
May I now request our museum curator, Ms. Natasha Fernandez, Father Avinash and Nascimento, to escort our dignitaries from the dais and from the rows, our honorable MLAs and MPs, to the museum, please. Ladies and gentlemen, our museum is huge intellectually and magnificent creatively, but it is perhaps a little too small for all of us to go in at once. So I'm now going to ask my colleagues and our friends of the museum to lead you into the convent of Santa Monica next door for a cup of tea and some refreshments. I shall myself join you in a little bit. Please do visit the museum a little later if you like. Today we are open till 8 p.m. And with your friends, family, and house guests, do come back. The Museum of Christian Art is open from 10 in the morning to 5 every single day of the week.
sculptures in wood and ivory you will see on this level. And also we have a viewing platform, which was the level where originally there was a first floor, which was the choir loft for the sisters who lived here who participate in the mass. So in this project, we have restored one portion of this viewing platform for the visitors to view the church, and the other side to see the museum as well. So we'll just walk through this area.
Please.
All this has been a project designed by the Portuguese architect, and display cases with proper lighting for each object. All over Goa from different churches, and also people have donated from their collections, because then it is viewed and it's appreciated. We get a large number of Indian visitors, and of course people from the community as well as international. We have information as well, which is given, which helps people to understand the Portuguese collection. San Cayetano. Bejo, बाकी को बेचो. एक्सेस डोर या सायडींतल्यान ते एक्सेस डोर आनी पळय आमकां मेळ्ळें रेस्टोरेशन करतना हे आदले पेंटिंग्स मेळ्ळे. It was painted over. Yes, we were not able to discover much. So you get an overview of the church, and you also get an overview of the museum. This place is amazing. It is amazing. Ivories from the 19th and 20th century. Powerful dust as well. Depiction of the Virgin Mary standing on a lotus.
Silver.
This is silver. It's silver. This is ivory. And this is also silver. Textiles, banners, professional banners. Vestments. The priests would use earlier. Now the decorative elements are simple. The embroidery is also done. Was done by the. It has got Islamic influences in some cases. It's a very unique piece. You get to see it very often, but yeah, you see how, and the priest had to say masses at a place where there was no. The representative the objects, yeah. So you can focus on the objects, just enough to focus on the objects. This is from the early, again, starting a chronology of late 16th, 17th. Nowadays we don't find these kind of pieces because they are no longer in use. This was used to make the host press originally. We have this depiction of baby Jesus. And here we have objects connected to the procession. And lastly, we have the central area as the. This is a masterpiece. This is a pelican bird. This takes the form of a bird because they say the pelican depicts Christ. Yes, in her chest and feeding her babies. This was originally made for the convent of Santa Monica and for the convent in the early 17th century. And when the convent was abandoned in the Earls of Lower Goa, and then it was donated to this museum in 2011 by the last daughter, daughter of the last Earl of Lower Goa. Yes. We have also the reliquaries that keep relics, seals, sometimes even of baby's rice. And the bells, which are influenced by the temple bells. The influences are the Indian influences. That's what the museum tries to stress, the Indian influences on Christian art. Because all this work was made by Indian artists. And the state of these monsters is like the deep stuff.